All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here at this Ask CASA session. We have a fun session today. We have 4 organizations that are a part of our community that are here to share about what they have been up to and how we as CASA can kind of build our relationship with them and utilize their support on our cases that we have. So we have Lindsey English. She is with Fostering Change. We have Sharon Bryant with Foster Care Essentials. We have Julie Stanwood-Higgins with Rise Above. And we have Ann Martin with One Can Help. So we'll kind of pop around to the 4 of them. They will all take about 10 minutes to explain what their organizations do, what they've been up to, and then you all will have the opportunity to ask them whatever questions you would like. I do want to note that every single one of these organizations are on our community resource guide that Glorian works very hard on. So we have their contact information if at any point on your cases you would like to reach out and connect with them. So we will begin. We are going to start with Lindsey English from Fostering Change. She will go first. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Jordan. Good morning, everybody, or actually afternoon. I'm really don't want to go back to tomorrow's morning. My name is Lindsey. As she stated, I am with Fostering Change. We are a nonprofit that we are based out of Leominster, Massachusetts. We have been around. This past April was 6 years, so we're in our 7th year right now. We basically are we are what we call a catch-all nonprofit. So we don't focus on one particular aspect or purpose of what we serve when it comes to foster children. We service foster children of all stages, whether it is foster children, kinship, and with children, we do also service 1 year post-adoption. So to kind of help with some resources that may happen, as they're trying to get things finagled a year post-adoption, it can take some time. So we have supported some post-adoption. So basically, we are just here to provide whatever sort of resources we can for the foster parent. We do run 2 big events every year that we have consistently done since the beginning. We do run a back to school drive in mid-August. We have our big event day, and then we do run a Christmas drive, which that tends to occur mid-December. For both of these events, foster parents, kinship parents that, they sign up their kids. Our back to school drive is a lot of fun. We get a big kick out of it. We get one of our local banks that we bank with. They have their own ice cream truck. For those of you who probably know Fidelity Bank, they have the Frosty Flyer, which is an ice cream truck. They go to all kinds of events. It's free. They come out the day of our event, so the kids get to come in with the foster parents. We have everything set up like a store. Kids get to pick out their favorite backpack they want, and they just get to go around and go shopping and pick out what supplies they want, however many they want. It's at no cost to the foster parent. For any of you who've had to go and do back to school shopping, it has gotten insanely ridiculous with cost. And a lot of our families have multiple foster kids. They don't come in with just one. We have families with 3 to 5 foster kids per, those are the ones that we really tend to see a lot of because that can get very pricey. And then our Christmas drive is sort of the same thing. They sign them up, give us an idea of some of the things that the kids like. And we pack boxes of Christmas gifts because, as DCF only provides these foster parents $100 per kid to go do Christmas every year. And I actually grew up in foster care. I got aged out in foster care in 99. Okay, I'm getting old. And anyway, but it was $100 back when I was in foster care, so it has not changed. So we provide that, and then we're also just sort of a resource option. We get foster parents that'll reach out and say, "Hey, she's trying to get help with, finding a job. Do you know of any places?" We'll reach out to our connections and say, "Hey, we've got a 17-year-old girl who's looking for a job. Or any of you guys hiring?" right now, I was actually talking to Glorianne about this a few weeks ago when we met up. One of the big things we're involved with right now, and what seems to be coming around, is a lot of these foster kids coming of age for quinceañeras. I did one myself for my daughter 2 years ago. It is insane if you've never been to one or planned one. It is literally like planning a wedding for a 15-year-old. And it's quite crazy. And so she reached out, they have us foster child. All she wanted was her quince. So we've been helping her with connections, putting out to our donors, saying, hey, we've got this girl, this is what we need. And our donors are just coming out of the walls, either donating money for us to help them pay for things. We've gotten them a DJ, a photo booth, a photographer, her crown, her dress, her cake, and all of this at no cost to the foster parent, because we're using money that's donated specifically for this to help them. So we're just using our resources to kind of put people in connection with the people who can help. So we don't specifically have one option of what we will or won't do. Some organizations are very specific in what they provide. We just prefer to be sort of the windfall, I guess, for better way to put it, so that we can kind of just be here to help these kids have the opportunity to just be a kid. I mean, and just have all the same opportunities and resources. I mean, we've done everything from, sending kids to the Washington, D.C. trip this year that were able to go. They needed help with raising money. And, we have a small fund that we'll use, but more so we'll reach out to our massive donors and just say, hey, this is what we're looking to do. And people will come out of the woodwork. We more utilize our community resources because people want to help. They just don't know where to help. And they're more apt to help through a nonprofit than to help somebody directly because they feel like they have a better idea of where things are going. So there's pretty much so far, I will say so far, please don't prove me wrong, nothing that we have not been able to help with in some capacity. So we are just any random, we've probably heard it all. So we're here to kind of just do whatever it is that we're able to help provide these kids with whatever they need to ease the foster parent, so that they can focus more on other things that really need their attention and allow us to take some of that. And also just to let these kids have the opportunities to just be a kid in a very rough situation for them.
Thank you so much. All of that is very, very wonderful. I do have a question before I open it up to everyone. Just to clarify, so kind of the referral, so to say, for support from you guys at Fostering Change, that does not need to come directly from a DCF caseworker or, someone within CASA. It can come directly from these caregivers. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we actually, so when we get these things that come through with these families, more often than not, we're people know of us by word of mouth, or they've seen us on Facebook, or they've seen us do something. We typically, I think I've had maybe 3 referrals that actually came from DCF. The rest of them either came from other foster parents who met a foster parent through some sort of environment, and they were like, hey, would you be able to help them, or tell them to give them our contact information. We've had some schools, with the foster parents' permission, to reach out to us and say, hey, they're looking for this. Is this something you can help with? How do we put you in connection with it? We're 99% word of mouth. DCF used to sort of give foster parents our information when they needed assistance. That stopped probably about 4 years ago. My understanding was that somebody within our local office made a referral to a wrong kind of quote unquote not approved program, and it ended up causing a little bit of a stink, and they got a slap on the wrist, and then everybody became very afraid to say anything. So, we only can get these parents to us by outside resources, whomever it is. Our only requirement is that they are a foster parent with a foster child or 1 year post adoption. We do have one of our board members does work for DCF. And we do not get specific information. We just verify that, because we ask them who their worker is we just verify that that is a valid worker within. We get first and last name to validate that is a valid worker. Sometimes the worker will reach out and, we just want to make sure, because unfortunately, as organizations, we all see those people come in just trying to get things that don't really necessarily need to be entitled to them. So we do try to vet them that way, but it ends up being a lot more on the honor system. But we have been lucky that we haven't really had anybody come in and try to get through the system that really wasn't part of it. So, but to answer the question, yes, referrals can come from anywhere, any person that wants to either reach out on their behalf or give them our contact for them to reach out to us directly.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I know it can be just such a barrier to have to wait on other people and, it's just a process. So knowing that they can just go directly to you guys that's awesome.
Yeah, that was
Does
one
it,
of the things we kind of, oops, sorry, that was just one of the things we
oh,
tried to do is that we don't have the red tape.
yeah,
While you're waiting for emergency funding from DCF for clothing, or they need, a new backpack because they're going on a trip or things like that, they reach out to us. We typically can have it approved by our board and done within 24 to 48 hours. And that's on the long end, because we have plenty of volunteers. A few of us have the debit card and we're like, all right, you just need to go out and get X, Y, and Z, meet up with them here. And, we can do it very, very quickly. So that's one of the things that we like about what we do is we sort of
yeah,
eliminate that barrier. There's enough barriers for these families and these kids without having to be a barrier to getting something that this child needs.
yeah. So cool. Thank you. Sheila, I see you have a hand up. I think you are
Yeah,
still mute.
no.
Oh, there you go.
Hi, Lindsay. I just wanted to check. You said you're in the Leominster area. What's the
Yes,
catchment area for your fostering? I mean, is it Worcester County or is it North County or what?
we actually, believe it or not, we have families we service from all over Massachusetts. We even have a couple from Connecticut and New Hampshire. We don't restrict our service area. I mean, I'm going to say about 90% of the families we service are from like the central Worcester center. Sorry, I got food poisoning, so my brain's a little bit out of it. So if I'm stumbling over myself, I apologize. Most of our families come from Worcester County because this is kind of where we're mostly known, but the word about us is starting to spread. So we do not restrict our service area. If they're willing to commute out here for one of the events to get the assistance or to kind of meet for things they need, then we're willing to help them.
Thank you.
Any
Anybody
other
else?
questions for Lindsay? We will kind of circle back at the end just to, make sure any other questions haven't arise in the midst of everyone else speaking. So we will revisit this for sure. But Lindsay, thank you so much for sharing with all of us. Thank you so much for all that you are doing and all that your organization is doing. It's so awesome.
You're very welcome.
And now we will hear from Sharon Bryant from Foster Care Essentials.
Thank you, Jordan. My name is Sharon Bryant, and I am the co-founder, CEO of Foster Care Essentials. We have been in existence for about 2.5 years. What we do is we provide essentials to families that care for children in foster care and kinship care. Essentials being gently used clothing or brand new clothing, footwear, diapers, wipes, hygiene, school supplies, all at no charge. So that's what we do. And if it's something that we don't have, if you tell us what you need, we will find it. I have found over the past 2.5 years that people are very generous. And we don't. One time somebody needed, a car seat and whatnot, and we had it on Facebook in 16 minutes. It was crazy. But so like I tell people, whatever we don't have, if you need it, we'll get it for you. And something new that is happening for us is when we originally started, our vision, I guess, was to start like a store where, foster parents and kinship parents could come and shop for free, like a store, like, we're Walmart. And this past, I think it was March 1st, we had got 2 offices upstairs at a church, and we just kind of combined it and we made it into our own store. So that's exciting for us. Before, we would actually, somebody would reach out to us and like Lindsey, we travel all over the state. And we would, if you're from Leominster, we would meet them halfway, or if they didn't have a car, we would just drive to Leominster. Now people come to us. Right now, currently it's by appointment only, just until we get a better feel as to, what is the best day for people. So that's working out good for us so far. We are having an open house / ice cream social for June 15th, just to kind of welcome, all of our families to come and see where we're at, get a better feel as to what we have, what we don't have, what we can offer and help them with. Then, you can enjoy a little bit of ice cream on the on the way out. We do hold several events. We just had a resource fair, and we combined it with something that we call the summer footwear kickoff, or step into summer, I think it was, where it was two parts. Like I said, the resource fair kind of brought other organizations that support families, and just to let people know we're out here and this is what we can do for you. And then the families that did register, everyone got gift cards from Famous Footwear. We have generous donators, and we were able to go and purchase a lot of footwear gift cards. So we hopefully will start these children off with good footwear or brand new footwear anyways, for the summer, sandals or whatever they need, whatever they like. We usually have a winter wear event where everybody gets new coats and boots. You just have to pre-register, let us know, and just come and get it. And this year, this is our first year that we're going to have a back to school special. We got a grant from Walmart, so we're going to go out and buy everything new, and families can come to us and just take what you need: backpacks, pens, pencils, whatever you need to start the school year off. So we're going to have that event as well. So a lot is happening for us. Things are happening very quickly, which is good because that's why we're here. But it's also like nerve-wracking. It's like, oh God, don't forget anything. But so things are moving at a good pace for us. So I think that's about it.
Thank you so much, Sharon. If I'm remembering correctly, you guys had started was that February of 2022 or that
Yes.
year? Yeah, that's
Yep,
awesome.
February. Yep.
I remember we had you on a similar panel call back in October of 2022. So it's just so great to hear from you now after a few years have passed, and to hear what you guys are up to. That's amazing.
Right.
And Glorian, I think you just shared in our Facebook page about the ice cream event, correct?
So I wanted to kind of backtrack a little bit. So I met up with Lindsey, I think month, I forget how long ago, it's all a blur, but they were kind enough to give us a couple boxes of books for donating. Anybody's staff, Theodette, we got some books from Lindsey. And then Sharon, I was at the event, their new space at the church. It's in Hopedale. Beautiful space, great. And there's brand new cabinets in the halls where they could store. It's a great shopping area, and big turnout with the families that came through. And then Sharon was just at our office yesterday, dropping off some formula and diapers for us. We're getting a large number of, we got a lot of cases in, and some of them are babies, and we were able to share our overflow of socks with her. But it was a great event, and it's so well organized, and the families, I think they just felt so special about being there, and it's fun for the kids. And it was just a fun event for families to come through and make them feel really good, and get their needs met.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for Sharon? Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you again, Sharon. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, now we will have Julie Stanwood-Higgins from Rise Above.
Thank you, Jordan. Again, my name is Julie. I am the program manager for the Rise Above Foundation, and we are a nonprofit. We've actually just celebrated our 15th year birthday or anniversary. And during that time of our 15 years, we've actually served over 14,000 youth who are experiencing foster care. Our goal really is to, I think like all of our goals here on this panel, is to really kind of create a sense of normalcy for the youth that are in care and give them the same opportunities as their peers. We help with funding for any youth who's in care. They can be in an unrestricted, a kinship, a group home residential program, really as long as, or even have aged out and still working underneath the VPA, so voluntary with the department. They're all eligible for funding through Rise Above Foundation. And we are across the state of Massachusetts. We fund things such as extracurricular activities. So if they want to join a sport or theater or, attend study abroad, they can request laptops, Kindles, bicycles. Really, we're open to any conversation on what might be helpful and supportive of the youth experiencing foster care. We, like I said, serve statewide across the state of Massachusetts. We also, at times, if a youth is in custody of Massachusetts and might live in another state through, through foster care, we will also assist with them. Anybody can apply. So you can apply as a CASA worker, the youth can apply, a DCF worker can apply, foster parents can apply. Absolutely anybody can apply right on our website. Really simple. Our application probably takes about maybe 2 minutes. We do ask for 30-day turnaround, but honestly, I cannot stand having open applications. So I get them done really, really fast. It drives me crazy. And I can say if something's like urgent, so if you have a really urgent need, you can always just shoot me a quick email, give me a phone call, and just say that we really need to see if there's any way we could expedite this. And I can turn things around very quickly. I can turn it around in a few hours if we need to. Our biggest thing is we do always check with DCF. So if a youth or a CASA worker applies with us, we do always reach out to the DCF worker just to confirm custody and to confirm, because we have youth applying, we always confirm that the request is okay with DCF. And the reason why we do that is oftentimes we get a lot of requests for like trips to Disney or trips to, another part of the country or even out of the country. We need to make sure that DCF is okay with that because we don't want to set the youth up for failure. We want this to be a successful and exciting adventure for them. So we just always check with DCF. We are privately funded through grants and individuals. Any youth can apply, like I said, right from our youth is eligible, ages 0, right up until they age out at 23. We also run a couple of special events each year. We run the college or care kits. I always call it college care kits, and Sarah always corrects me. It's care kits. So if there is a youth over the age of 18 that is in school, twice a year in November and April, we put together care kits. What that is a social worker or a foster parent or even the individual can apply, and we send out care kits. Last year, we sent about 300 care kits out to youth who are in school post the age of 18. So in college, whether it be a trade or, a traditional college, and inside is sweets, treats, and gift cards. And a little note just to say, hey, we're thinking of you and what a great job, because it is remarkable if any youth is facing any sort of challenges to make it into college is a pretty great feat. And we want to make sure they know that people see them and see how proud we are of them. We also offer something called the launch boxes. So if you have a youth who is moving out into their first apartment on their own or moving in with roommates, we can actually deliver a box that has some apartment startup items. So it'll have like pots, pans, kitchenware, bathroomware, and we always include a gift card to Target or Walmart so they can pick out a little decor or maybe get a TV or whatever they might want to kind of make their home their home. And that is available to any youth who is moving into their own apartment, or even sometimes we get them switching apartments. Those first apartments don't always work out, but we always want to make sure they at least have those beginning items. And we do allow for like a specialty item. I buy so many air fryers, I just don't even know. So if anyone needs air fryer recommendations, just ask, because I can definitely tell you which ones are good. So I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. We do also work with a lot of, we like to collaborate, right? So a lot of times youth might want a laptop if they're in school or in high school or need something. We will work hard to make sure that if we cannot fund it in its entirety, that we collaborate with other agencies or we collaborate with DCF to access some of the federal funding that's coming down. I find a good example is that a lot of times when kids are needing to go to a therapeutic camp, I mean, just saying that it's coming up now that it's summer, therapeutic camps can run anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 for the week. And so if someone applies for us, we can't cover the entire amount of the camp, but we will certainly reach out to other funding resources to see if we can collectively make sure that that youth attends, because we want them to have that same experiences as their peers. I think that's it. I don't know what else I could share.
I
Any
would just remind
questions?
everybody, there's 2 separate applications, right? One for a special extracurricular activity, and then there's a summer camp application, right?
No, it's all one application.
Oh, it's one now?
It's
Okay, I
all,
thought it
it's
was a
all one
separate.
application. The only thing that's separate is the way that we do the care kits. It's more like we
Okay.
send out a link and we do kind of a survey on that. That's separate, but everything else goes through the one application system. So there's a place where you can put a description and you just write a little bit about what it is that you're applying for, and that's just what we need.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of
Very
course.
familiar with Rise Above. I used to work for DCF, and that's when I was introduced to Rise Above. And then now being at CASA, you guys have just been around for a long time now, and we appreciate everything you guys do and all you do to help. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any questions for Jolie? Okay, thank you again, Julie. I appreciate it. And now we will move on to our last presenter. We have Anne, and she is with One Can Help. Anne, before you share, I know you had mentioned possibly having slides. Would you like?
Slides? No, I'm just going to
Okay,
talk and then
perfect.
have questions.
Perfectly fine. Thank you, Anne.
Am I ready to go? Good. Hi. Nice to see everybody. Thank you for those of you who have your screens on. It's so much nicer to look at people than to just blank screens. So thank you so much. So I'm Ann Bader-Martin, and I'm a juvenile court attorney. And something you all know is something we have always seen now that you work in the system, is that while the rest of the population believes that children and families in the system have access to resources they need to succeed, whether they're in foster care or not, we know that's not true, that there aren't enough resources to help the children and families in the system wherever they're living. And so in 2006, which I might add is the same year that Facebook started, so depending how you look at it, you will decide whether we've done well or not. But in 2006, we decided, several attorneys with social workers decided to start a nonprofit to provide the urgently needed missing resources that are not available elsewhere to help all underserved children and families that are involved with the juvenile court or DCF system. So that's basically our population. I want to stress that because the organizations we heard from before are all fabulous. And I urge you, if a need falls within one of those organizations, what they do, even though we have a drop of overlap in helping foster kids too. But if the need falls in a foster care situation that one of those organizations can cover, please use them. Because like Julie said, we all try to collaborate, and everybody's got a fantastic mission. And certainly we need all the organizations we can help, because this is an enormous problem. But we are there to provide those resources that aren't available elsewhere, which means not available through other organizations. So if you apply for us and you apply for an arts camp, we are likely to say, please reach out to Rise Above first, because they love to pay for that for children in foster care. And let us know if there's a problem after that, and usually that's all there is to that. Or driver's ed for a kid that's at home, because I know since you're CASA, you also help children that are home. Wonder Fund will pay for that. So we try to be aware of what other resources are out there. So if it fits somebody else and there's not a pressing time issue, because we can often do a 24-hour turnaround if we have to do that, that we try to refer you to somebody else first and keep the application open and see if that solves the problem. Because the reality is that there are a lot of needs out there that aren't met elsewhere. And so that's why we focus how we do. And what else can I tell you that'd be interesting? So some examples of that are things that keep children at home and doing successfully. It might be a laptop. It might even be paying the heat bill so the parents aren't so stressed out and that they can function. And that's not only a problem of keeping them, we don't have an agenda. It's not like, well, we don't believe in foster care or anything like that. We help children in foster care too. We know there's no easy answer here. It's a complicated issue and there's no one size fits all. So we meet people where they're at. Attorneys, social workers, and CASA are basically the three primary categories of people that can apply. You go to our website, One Can Help, just like it says, ONE, and you will see the application to apply. You also see our criteria and our, all kinds of policies and things. Try to read it because it'll save you a lot of back and forth, and we try to keep it simple, not because of intelligence, just because nobody wants to read a lot, including me. So you fill out the application and then you just wait for an answer, which you will get an answer by the following day of some sort. So just keep your eye on it. Don't forget it's there. If you think we didn't respond, you write us back a week later and say, what happened? You never responded. We'll say, check your spam, and it will be there. So definitely you want to pay attention if you do it, and don't fill out more than one application at a time, because it's very difficult to try to answer our questions on 3 applications simultaneously and not mix them up. But if you see, so it really comes down to this, if you see a missing need that at this moment would in some way help a child, even it's direct or indirect. Another example is paying for transportation, so a parent can visit their kid in foster care, or paying for a kid that's gone home for a bed so that they can leave foster care, or a kid that's gone home and came home without enough clothing because now it's outside the DCF ambit altogether, paying for some clothing for them so that they can start off with a transition plan that has a chance of being successful. So it's really whatever missing resource is driving you crazy. We started this, I always say it's like banging your head against the wall test. If it's driving you nuts that this resource is not available because you know what a difference it would make for this person right now, that's when you apply for us. And so that's, I think, in a nutshell what we do. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Anne. I
Sure.
love that it is like it just encompasses everything when it comes to the family, helping the kids maybe make it back home if, that is the goal for the case. That's just awesome. Jeff, I see that you unmuted yourself. Do you have a question for Anne?
I was just curious. I've got a foster family who probably needs legal advice. Would that be anything that you guys would do?
No, I'm so glad you asked. No, this is, we are not, and I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing gratefully that I'm not having to give legal advice on these cases. It's nice.
We do have a resource, by the way, though.
Sorry?
We do have a resource for that on our community
Nice.
guide,
That's
Jeff. So
wonderful.
Awesome.
Good. Yes, use them. No, we are not here to provide legal advice in this capacity. While many of us are attorneys or retired judges, or and social workers as well, we're here to provide the missing resources, and we may make suggestions, but we don't work with foster families, and we actually, just to also add, we never work with beneficiaries at all, and we're trust-based. We trust you as the professional, that you know what you're talking about, and that you understand the type of case it is, and you know what's needed, and that if you say you work with that this person is DCF involved, we will trust you. And we try to follow, what you think right now matters and would make a difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Any other questions?
Emma has a question.
Emma, awesome.
Hi, Emma. You're on mute.
Here, I'll give you a little notification. There we go.
Hi, thanks. I'm not sure who would answer the question, and that's why I waited to hear from everybody. But I am a foster parent, and we do have a fantastic team that I'm working with. But the problem that I have, because I've contacted the resource that I know, but now I'm glad I came to this meeting that there's more resource. So I've contacted Faces, where I have Diana, who deals with trauma therapy. So she kind of talks to me and gives me different tips to use. But my main question is as to steal, like taking things. Last year, he had the opportunity to work at Boys and Girls Club and he saved some money. But now he declined that. I took him shopping because when we get the clothing check, I pick up where they want to go, and you can't buy anything for a teenage anymore. So I just let them go shopping and I wait. And he came out with clothing that was worth $270 that he stole that I didn't know until later on. And we had gone to Providence. So when I called the team up, we were looking for something because Diana from Trauma Therapy said he needs to learn the hard way because right now he's stealing from the community. And since I didn't know to return the money there, he's already done it. So they were trying to see if he can do like a community service. So I went to the Worcester police and I asked them and they said it has to come from the judge. I do not want to open a case. He can, I can call this place for him to do something or what? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, and he's an honor student. So
Can I make a suggestion if it's okay?
Yes.
That I don't know, and maybe somebody else might have a better answer. I don't know right here in this moment if we'd be able to kind of guide you in that, because I feel like there's probably a little bit more to the situation. But what I would suggest is, I don't know if you're familiar, but KidsNet has a program out there called the Behavioral Health Partner Program. And what that is they actually assign a very seasoned and trauma-informed foster parent to work alongside you.
Okay.
And kind of walk the whole journey with you. They can access resources, they can talk through trauma. I'm sorry, and they get assigned to you personally to work with you through this whole journey. And that might be a good place to go, because I think they could kind of dive in a little deeper with you, because oftentimes when kids are kind of, as we call it, stealing, there's often more to the behavior, right? We don't want to look at their behavior. We want to look at kind of the reasoning behind their behavior. And they might be a good person kind of chat with to kind of talk about repair. I like to call it repair because I also take teens in and I call it repair, right? It's not, and I always feel like the repair has to fit the situation and also has to be appropriate for the child. Each one is individual and kind of where they are emotionally, developmentally, all of that. So I think that might be a good place to go, because then they can kind of dive a little deeper with you and kind of how, and they're good at finding resources too, like you're talking about, kind of ways to give back to the community.
And you said KIT, like KIT or KID?
KIDS, KidsNet. So it's KIDSNETT. I'll try to find it. And if it's okay, I can pop it in the chat.
Well, that will be awesome. Thank you.
The other place on KidsNet is really good. And the other place you could call is Choices. It's a peer, it's guided by professionals, but it's peer support structure and facility, and it's very good. It's right on Grove Street, but I would give them a call. They offer this different programs within that Choices, and it's just for teens.
Mhm.
We're going through, from substance use to behavioral things. So I would give them a call and see if you can get them involved there, because it's a nice program.
Awesome.
And so that's located on our community resource guide. If you go to the casaproject.org, but it's just called Choices, and you could look it up too. Good luck with
That's
that.
what I was thinking of too, Glow. That's the same resource.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. All right. Any other questions for our panel?
Hey, Jordan, this is Peg.
Yeah. Hi, Peg.
Hi. So these programs sound so amazing. How do foster parents, do they know about these programs as well? Because I know some of my conversations when I've been involved in different cases, I don't even know if the foster parents would know to bring something like that up. So then I might not know that there was a need as a CASA representative. So how do the foster parents find out about these programs as well?
So I am imagining that a lot of it is kind of word of mouth, which is why we love to hold different trainings and sessions like this, just for our volunteers to gain more awareness. We do have that community resource guide, and you're always able to take a few of those resources off of there, as many as you would like, and share the resources with the caregivers as much as possible. There's, no parameters on that. Even if they don't express a specific need, you can say, hey, these awesome resources are within the county and we would love that you have access to them and you keep them handy just if anything were to ever pop up. But yeah, I would say word of mouth is the I mean, they may bring up requests or different things to their DCF social workers since they do have a lot of one-on-one contact with them. And, we would hope that they would share the resources as well. But you as an advocate, we always encourage that you push those resources out when you're on your visits.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions or thoughts? Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much to all of our presenters, to all of the organizations. We appreciate you guys and all that you guys are doing. It helps us with our advocacy work. Like I said, every single one of these organizations are already on our community resource guide. If you don't have that handy, let either me or Gloria know, or let your supervisor know, and we will make sure we share that with you. But like I was just saying to Peg, I always encourage you guys as advocates to be keeping these resources handy so that you can share them with caregivers and the people on your cases on a regular basis so that we can make sure these kids are cared for and have all that they possibly need.
I was just like to add that the community resource guide was really pushed. The need was made known to us about the judges in the Worcester Juvenile Courts. They really wanted access. And the first Justice Keating said, these families or kids get in front of them and everybody looks to them to say, what do we do with them to keep them out of juvie or just get them on the right track? And they just felt helpless. So we have the QR code and the judges are going to be looking at it and making recommendations to their attorneys on the cases and people who come before them to connect these kids to resources that or their social workers to the resources that you and everyone else is trying to offer to the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Glorianne. All right. Thank you guys so much. Again, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for sharing. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out to me and all of our staff and advocates on this call. If a question pops up for one of them, please just reach out to me and I will make sure that we get an answer for you guys. All right. Well, I hope that everyone has a great rest of their day. It was nice to see you all.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Guys.
Thank you. Bye.